In 2014, Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to elite form, realistically being a threat to win on a week-to-week basis. A large part of this was a rejuvenated driver in Earnhardt, but another large part of this success was Earnhardt's crew chief, Steve Letarte. But with Letarte leaving the 88 team after 2014 to join the newly acquainted NBC Sports, it left questions to be answered of how they would perform in 2015. Replacement crew chief Greg Ives was given high praise by Dale Jr. after he won the 2014 Nationwide Championship for Jr.'s team with hotshot rookie Chase Elliott. Immediately, the season's prospects would go up for Dale Jr. fans in the Daytona duel races.
Tell you, that guy behind him might help him, though. That 4-car of Kevin Harvick, he might decide he wants to help him push up to the front.
McDowell on the bubble. Keselowski out. Dillon out. Marks out.
It's all
Larson
on the line.
in.
It's on the line now, boys. Who's going to make it?
Yaley's in right now. Michael Annette's in.
Here comes the 22.
Whoa, what a slide job, and Earnhardt goes to the bottom to break the draft. From last at the start, first at the finish, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Hell yeah.
Earnhardt looked the same way he had looked in both the 2014 Daytona 500 as well as his dominant plate racing days at DEI. In the Daytona 500, he was one of the 3 dominant Rick Hendrick-owned cars, but with the laps winding down, Earnhardt ultimately made a vital misjudgment that would cost him the 2015 Daytona 500.
Big bobble by Clint Boyer in the 15 there. Gathers it back up. Junior loose.
Whoa,
coming up through the middle.
That was not a good move. He's going to get caught in the middle here. Better watch out. Boy, when you get in that middle like Junior is, you just can't. There's nowhere to go.
While Earnhardt charged back to the front, he could only muster up a 3rd place finish, and while he opened the season with 3 top 5s, the inconsistency of finishes of 43rd and 36th in the following 3 races reared their ugly heads. He would only be 24 points above the cut line after 6 races. His situation remained about the same heading into the season's 10th race at Talladega. In 9 races, he had 5 finishes of 6th or better, but he had 2 mid-pack finishes and 2 sub-35th place finishes, so a chase berth was far from a guarantee yet. That is, until the Talladega race.
Well, here they come, down the stretch. 1 to go.
White flag. Martin Truex on the outside. Menard's coming with him.
They'll never make it back.
And Denny Hamlin
They'll
goes
never
up there. We
make it
got
back.
one all the way on the apron spinning.
Carl
Big
Edwards.
wreck. Big wreck.
Nope.
Keep coming, no caution. Keep
And
going.
now there's the
21
wreck.
back. Big wreck
3
in rear.
cars hard in the wall.
Big wreck in rear. Keep coming.
Casey
Keep coming.
Mears,
Keep
Ricky
coming.
Stenhouse,
One
Jeff
back,
Gordon
watch
around.
your
Here
mirror,
come
no
the
caution.
leaders.
One
We're
back.
still
Caution.
green.
No
Still
caution.
green.
Come on, boys. Bring it to the house.
Menard to the bottom with
Big one
Blaney.
coming on the bottom. Big one
Junior
coming on the
trying to
bottom.
hold everybody off.
Come on, Blaney. You got one more shot. You can do it.
Earnhardt, Johnson, Menard, Blaney. Double wide behind them. 4 cars to settle it. Earnhardt trying to cover all spots. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Checkered flag at Talladega. Look at him doing an Alan Kulwicki self-styled Polish victory lap with the window net down, the helmet off, waving to the fans after a great win today.
The win was Earnhardt's 6th at Talladega, and it would also lock him into the chase. With this, the 88 team began to get in its groove, scoring 2 straight 3rd-place runs at Kansas and in the Coke 600. At Michigan, a few weeks later, they fought for a win, finishing 2nd, and by the time that NBC had come back as a TV partner at Daytona, Earnhardt had a win, 8 top 5s, and 10 top 10s in 16 races run already. The starting lineup at Daytona would be set by practice times due to rain. Earnhardt was the fastest in practice, so he would win the pole, and it would turn into a complete evisceration of his competition.
Junior blocking the lower line. Does that give the advantage to the 48? Junior jumps up in front of Jimmy Johnson. To the bottom of the racetrack, Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to stay in front of the pack. They work their way through 3 and 4. Into the trial they come. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the bottom of the track. Junior will win at Daytona. And the big one happens.
Earnhardt's second win of the season propelled him to the second place in the point standings, and over the next 9 races, he would remain consistent and seemingly in championship form. Heading into the chase, Dale Jr. would be seated in a 4-way tie for 5th due to his 2 wins. At Chicagoland, the 88 ran in the lower half of the top 10 before fading to 12th. The finish would put him in 10th in the grid, 10 points above the cutoff line, with Jamie McMurray being the 13th place driver. Earlier in the season, Jr. had enjoyed a 5th place run after running in the top 5 all day at New Hampshire. It seemed like he was on his way to repeating that run again, if not for a puzzling strategy call by crew chief Greg Ives. The 88 would stay out during a caution near the last half of the race, while the majority of the field pitted, being able to make it on fuel with the stretch. It ended in damning results. Dale Jr. would end up 25th at the end of the day, costing him nearly 20 points. So, heading into the cutoff race at Dover, he would not be safely in. He would be a single point above 13th place driver Kyle Busch, meaning that he was in serious danger of losing one of his best shots at a championship in the first round of the playoffs. Earnhardt started off the first half of the race in the middle of the pack, but the 88 team kept working on the nationwide machine, turning it into a viable vehicle that could compete for a top 5. Kevin Harvick dominated the race, so the win was out of question, and Kyle Busch was in a safe second, with Jamie McMurray being ahead. With Kyle Busch and McMurray being in the top 5, it put them ahead of Dale Jr. in points, but suddenly, an atomic bomb would be dropped on the chase field.
Are we going to the garage, Cliff?
That's good.
Yeah, he's going to the garage. He's going to the garage. Remember, Jimmy Johnson's 5th in points, 27 points ahead of the cut line. This could be huge.
This could be a non-advance to round 2 situation for the 48 team.
And a 10-time winner out of the race now. That opens the door for someone else.
The race for the final spot would come down to Jamie McMurray and Dale Earnhardt Jr. After pitting for a loose wheel, Jr. was set to restart behind the 1 car. In a clutch showing, Earnhardt would keep his 2015 championship hopes alive.
Watch Dale Jr. on the outside of the 20. The 1 car got really slow. He got loose in the middle of the corner. That allowed the 88 to power on the outside of him and clear him. That's got him tied in points right now.
Over the closing laps, Jr. was able to hold off McMurray and finished 3rd in the race, just well enough to advance to the round of 12. In this round, everyone's points were reset to 3,000. After being rained out, the first race of the round at Charlotte would be raced on a sunny Sunday afternoon, but storm clouds would be brewing over Junior Nation.
Your sponsors and everybody involved will try to win this race.
Tagged by the back, the 88 into the wall.
Junior ended up finishing a dismal 28th and was already 19 points in the hole after the first race. At Kansas, he ran just outside of the top 10, only for the run to be undone by a crew mistake, a loose wheel. Instead of a possible top 10 and gaining points, the 88 came home 21st, losing points, heading into Talladega with a 31-point hole. He was in a must-win scenario, but he would seem to show up, making a heavily partisan Alabama crowd joyous.
Letting him know which line is moving, giving him the opportunity to move in front of that line, and now, almost on his own, the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. working that bottom line, trying to take the lead.
Signs of problems showed up early, though, on green flag pit stops.
Cycle of pit stops, or the last group of pit stops that came, had a uncontrolled wheel.
The mistake dropped him outside the top 10. He would make it back out to the front soon enough, but once again, Earnhardt would have trouble smoking the tires.
Pit road, look at once again the smoke rolling out from underneath the 88. Trying to slow down to pit road speed, 55 miles an hour.
Once again, Earnhardt got away relatively unscathed. The race had opened up, though, with the longest green flag run at Talladega since the 2002 race when they went flag to flag under green, meaning that every mistake piled up exponentially for more harm. It seemed that the 88 team was finally able to make a mistake-free stop, even if it was 120 laps into the race. He would come out of the pits the leader of his pitting group. Unfortunately, it did not last.
And here he is. And we're hearing a very disappointing news for that 88 team. They had guys over the wall too soon. They're going to have to do a pass-through penalty. that could enable or knock out Dale Earnhardt Jr. from the possibility of winning a championship. Earnhardt Jr. has been told he has to come.
Penalty, we're going to come this time.
The hand goes out the window, letting the 48 team know, and everyone behind him, he's got to come to pit road.
That's the important thing. We just saw the 13 got run into. He has. I mean, it's not good that he has to pit, but let's not make it worse. Let's not get spun coming to pit road, because the 48 and Jimmy Johnson would have no idea that 88 would have to come in.
So he has to check
Here,
out.
nice and smooth here.
TJ
4600.
The
Nice and
spotter
smooth.
letting him know.
That's the key, nice and smooth. You cannot flat spot the tires. If you do, you'd have to pit and change tires. You want this stop to be as quick as you can.
The penalty was soul-crushing, basically taking him off the lead lap with only 66 laps remaining in the race. The 88 was alone on track, giving up seconds a lap. Right as he was nearly going a lap down, the caution would finally fly. Earnhardt would stage a hard charge up to the front, leaving no prisoners. With 38 to go, he would manage to make it out back in front. Earnhardt had complete control of the Talladega field, having the dominant car. All that was left to do was a final pit stop, and with 19 to go, the silver 88 turned down, ready to get fuel only and regain the lead.
We've heard from different teams mentioning they were going to come to pit road with less than 10 laps to go, and now race leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. smoking the tires as he comes to the start-finish line.
They're going to have to put
Entrance to
tires
pit
on.
road, they're going to have to put tires on if they smoke the tires that much.
Once again, with 13 to go, Jr. was mired back in the lower half of the top 10. The pack was now lined up, but it wouldn't hold him back, as he made his way up to second behind Joey Logano, the leader, in the closing laps. With a caution flying late, it would lead to a green-white checker finish. Because of Austin Dillon's scary Daytona flip, NASCAR mandated that only one attempt at the green-white checker would be given at Talladega. With 2 to go, it would be Logano versus Earnhardt.
Pace cars off. One attempt at a green-white checker finish. Joey Logano, race leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Coming into the NBC Sports restart zone. Spins his tires. Green flag back in the air. Around goes to 48.
Caution's out.
And the caution is out. That will now determine who wins this race.
It all seemed to be over. At least until NASCAR called an audible, changing the rules at the last second and giving another attempt to the field.
Coming back into the NBC Sports restart zone. 220 feet. Green flag back in the air. The 4 not going. They wreck behind him. The green flag is out as they cross the start-finish line. Will they throw the caution? Trying to get back up to speed. Caution comes out.
The yellow would fly with the 22 and 88 completely under a blanket. In one of the most controversial calls in NASCAR history, Joey Logano was scored as the leader and eventually the winner. Jr. was eliminated from the playoffs with the second-place run. 3 weeks later, in a bittersweet moment, Dale Jr. would score what would end up being his final career win at Phoenix. Looking back at 2015, it was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s final real chance at a title. It makes many wonder, what if Jr. and his team hadn't made so many mistakes at Talladega that day? What if the win at Phoenix could have qualified him into the Final Four? How would he have raced? What if, in 2015, Dale Earnhardt Jr. captured his missing ring?